All right, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank you all for joining us here today, Lions Talk Live morning show edition. And you know what? Hey, we've got a little bit of a tell that came out yesterday. Brad Holmes on the 97.1 The Ticket talking to those reporters and such over there, talking about the Detroit Lions, and he put out a little bit of a reveal that yes, indeed, the Detroit Lions and Jared Goff are working diligently on trying to get a long-term answer for the quarterback to remain in Detroit Lion for some time. Could this all just be speculation? Could it all just be misdirection, smoke screens? That I don't know, but I'm going to take, at least for now, what Brad Holmes had to say as being factual and correct, and just, hey, this is what his plans are. Yes, indeed, the Detroit Lions are looking to re-sign Goff for a longer-term time to be the Detroit Lions quarterback of not just the now, but the future. So we'll have to see how that all shakes out. Before we get going with the show, though, today, I do want to give a shout out to one of my players, Savannah Rickley. She is signing a contract, or I guess you could say an agreement, to play basketball in college. And you know what? I couldn't be there today just because of the show and work constrictions. It takes me about a half hour to drive to the school, and then the signing takes about a half hour, and then another half hour getting back. And just with the show plus my normal jobs, I just couldn't make it out there today. So did want to give a shout out to Savannah and say congratulations, kiddo, on your big achievement going to sign to play college basketball. All right. Also, before we get into the meat of the video, you guys all know the deal. We're trying to get more subscribers. So if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. Making a push to get to 6,700 subscribers. We're about 80 away, so if you could help out that'd be great. Also, if you enjoy this video or other videos within Lions Talk Live, please consider hitting the thumbs up button. It helps out a ton. Always try to get about 200 or 300 thumbs up likes per video. Last but never least, just because I do enjoy working all my different jobs, and one of them is being a realtor. Have been a realtor since the early 1990s. So if you're considering buying or selling property anywhere in the state of Michigan, give me a call or shoot me a text. You see the number on the screen, 269-998-2384. Let me see if I can use roughly 30 years of work within the industry to your behest. Try to work on your behalf. Try to make sure that we're getting you the best deal, saving you money, and making the process a whole lot easier. So you see the number, give me a call, and we'll go from there. Or shoot me a text. All right, welcome to Lions Talk Live. Let's get going on with the Duke crew. You know, hey, outside of that, did you guys know, and I thought about doing a full video on this, so maybe we'll save it for another day to do a deeper dive into it. But according to NFL stats, Detroit Lions had the two most disruptive defensive backs in all the league last year. Maybe you didn't know that. Maybe you did know that. But yes, I'll do a little bit of a dive into that so you guys can get the full spoilers, at least know that it's coming ahead of time. But let's talk about Jared Goff. Let's talk about the Detroit Lions and Brad Holmes, his commitment, and apparently the fact that, hey, any questions about Hendon Hooker supplanting Goff, at least right now, sounds like that's not going to happen. It does sound like the Lions GM is pretty committed to Goff and thinks that, you know what, there's a reason why we went and got this guy. There's a reason why when he was with Rams, he traded up from 12 to number 1 to help acquire Goff. So let's talk about it and see what you guys have to say about this morning's topic. All right, Michael D., greetings, salutations, and Coach and Duke crew. Woo! Sorry, I messed up there for a second, but hey, it happens. And Michael, good morning to you too. Moonscar, good Friday morning, exclamation point. The weekend is here. Yes, it is, and hopefully you're going to have a good time with it. JDC, morning all, back at you. Bo, good morning, Duke crew. Superdome or bust, exclamation point, MVP this year. All right, we'll go with the MVP is. Mike the Marine, howdy, Dan, the Lions faithful. Happy Friday. The Lions season is due or die. Yes, it is. I like what you did there. All right, Lions fan number 1, greetings and salutations all. Looks like we're going to be chanting Jared Goff for a long time to come. You know, it seems like the team has embraced him exponentially. Doesn't seem like there's a question when you talk to Amon-Ra St. Brown or you talk to any of the guys in the organization, whether they're on offense or defense. You're right. They're all behind Jared Goff. That's their dude. And even though I get everybody's intrigued by the possibilities of Hendon Hooker, and maybe someday he is a starting quarterback, whether it's here or somewhere else, we'll have to wait and see. But at least right now, all roads seem to be pointing towards Jared Goff being the quarterback of the here and now for in the future for the Detroit Lions. All right, Robert, greetings and salutations all. Let's let the good times roll. Woo! 100%. And good morning to you too. Robert, do you remember Morton Nerf? I do not. So you'll have to help me out with that one. Hookadoo. Morning, coach and the do crew. Chuga. Woo, woo. And this train, chugga, woo, woo. Woo! There we go. This train runs on grits. Yes, go Lions, 100%. And sorry I messed that up and badgered it pretty badly there. But, hey, powering through it this morning. All right, Mike the Marine, I forgot my woo and hit thumbs. Yes, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and maybe even drop in a woo. Steve Rogers, good morning, all. Captain reporting for duty. Well, good morning, Cap. Hopefully having a great one. JDC, getting real the D. There you go. There we go. Bo, who do you love? Woo! Woody. There we go. All right. We're getting the woos out early today. All right. Mike DeRain, I love it. Hookadoo. There you go. Doug, Brad says he thinks he be signed before the start of the season. To me, that means after the preseason showcase time for Hooker. Yeah, it could be that too. There, you do have a good point with that, Doug. The process is agent get real. 55 million is not flying. It could be that there, without question. Could the agent be asking for more than realistically Goff is going to want or going to get? I should say. That's all possible. This could all be nothing more than just a ploy to get both sides sit down and come to more common terms for each side. I do think if Goff wants something like 55 million a year, boy, that might be a tough sell. Not if we can get him for 40, 45 million a year, that's probably going to be good. You can debate all day, and I get they have already put out some stuff with this year's rookie class saying, hey, here's the best quarterback in the league. Here's the 10th guy. Here's the 20th guy. Here's the 32nd guy. Where you put the rookies at, where you put Goff at, where you put the top quarterbacks at. I want to say they had Goff at number 12 overall. They had Matt Stafford at number 16. They had Aaron Rodgers at something like 8. But if you look at a lot of guys centered around Goff, you probably say, yeah, that's about right. Could you debate that Goff could be number 8 or 7 versus some other guys? Absolutely. But the point being that Goff appears, and I think most people would agree with this, he's a pretty good quarterback. Is he the best dude in the league? Probably not. Is he number 2? No. Is he somewhere between, by most metrics, somewhere between number 5 or 6 and 14? Yeah, there's probably a lot of real debate there, and most people would say, yes, that's about right for him. So that also means he has moments where he looks incredibly great, and there's other moments he looks, probably average. But what we can say is it seems like more and more people are agreeing he's definitely towards the front half of the quarterbacks in the league versus the back half. So it's going to be pretty hard to get somebody better than Goff. It's going to be a whole lot easier to get worse than Goff. All right, let's see. Steve Rogers, what do you got? Good morning, all. Captain reporting for duty. Good morning, Cap. JDC, getting real in the D. Yeah, I feel like I already read these. Sorry, my guy, bad guys. Let me scroll on down. Jedi Sith, greetings, salutations. So what's the word? Do we have a clue on what Goff's going to get? Not at this time, I don't believe, Jedi. I don't think there's any kind of leaks or information. It'd be all speculation at this point. Hookadoo, thanks, Gunny, 100%. Mike the Marine, Major Pain. All right, there you go. Quentin, greetings, salutations, all. Sounds like the chatter about Hooker beating out Goff is done. Also, that Green might be the guy to step in at wideout. That's a good point there, Quentin. Brad Holmes in that interview on 97.1 did point out quite a bit that Donovan Peoples-Jones last year came in late, took him a while to really kind of get into the feel of the offense, but he's a playmaker. He is somebody who can impact the team. He was one of those guys that made plays for the Cleveland Browns. It's just unfortunate for Donovan Peoples-Jones that last year there were just so many other weapons that were more comfortable in the offense ahead of him that he never really had an opportunity to present himself. That won't be the case this offseason. Donovan Peoples-Jones will be somebody who potentially could step in and really help out the Detroit Lions offense. I bring that up because I know a lot of people have said now that Josh Reynolds is gone, what are we going to do there? We could use more depth. Didn't sound like Brad Holmes was so concerned about it. He also brought up the point about Antoine Green that, rookie last year, he's got some size, he's got some wheels. He's going to be that much better for it, having gone through last year's rookie year. Now he's going to be in a better opportunity or place to be able to step in and make a big impact. So I think you're pretty spot on with that Brad Holmes kind of talked about it, and I agree with it. I think both guys will probably make Lions fans feel like, you know what, we're pretty set at wide receiver. Doesn't mean we couldn't go out and address it more, but I think the idea that we're going to go out and just get somebody who's going to be vastly better than these guys, it's probably going to be a difficult challenge to make that happen, just because in order to really supersede both guys, you're going to have to either give a huge contract or you're going to have to give something up to bring in somebody of that caliber. We'll wait and see, though. Frank, what do you got? Frank the Tank, Jared Goff's our quarterback of now and the future. There we go. And woo! Good morning, Frank. JDC, I live vicariously through these guys. MLW wiffle ball. There you go. All right. All right, Frank. Frank the Tank, Jared Goff will have better yearling had last year and have a dang good year. Our defense is way better, so it's going to make our offense way better. Go Lions. Yeah, I agree with you there. I think the defense is going to go out there and be able to take some pressure off the offense, not let them feel like they have to score all the time for us to win or be competitive. But the other part is, too, if you do get stops or turnovers, you now give the offense or our offense more opportunities to go out and score. All right, Mike the Marine, I'm excited for our defense. Exclamation point. It could be scary. Yeah, I think there's some real opportunity there for this year's defense to come in and just make some real huge plays, make some stuff. Hey, it's been a while since the Detroit Lions have had a defense that went out and just was in attack mode all day long, and that could put the fear of whatever you want to say, God or whoever, on the opposing offense. This year, I think we could take a big step forward. I thought last year, late in the year, we had some moments where we did that. In the year before, it's kind of the same thing. This could be the entire year, though, where we're just getting after you. And, man, I think there's going to be a lot of times where we're just going, man, that's how you play defense in today's NFL. So we'll see. All right, Doug. Brad was very careful, but also positive. He realizes that he has a great fit for this team already. He is also aware of every penny that will be needed to the Lions, needed to sign other Lions foundational pieces. Not free. Yeah, and part of the life of GM, right, is always balancing the checkbook, making sure that you can do everything possible to keep the players you want, your core components to the team. So I think you're spot on with that, Doug. Eddie, what do you got? Good morning, everyone. I wonder how many years will Goff get on the deal? It would just be speculative for anybody to say this or that or another term. My anticipation is it's going to be a 3 to 4 year deal. Now, could it be like the Kirk Cousins deal where really it's only a 2-year deal and the third and fourth year are kind of just, trash years, voidable years, whatever you want to say? Yes, that's totally possible. But my anticipation is, Eddie, is that's probably going to be in earnest for the Detroit Lions. A 3 to 4 year. Maybe Goff's representation really pushes for that 4th year. But I also think it's going to be, if it is a 4-year deal, then the first 3 are probably good to go for Jared Goff. The 4th is probably in favor of the Lions. All right, Frank the Tank, watching Lions football for 45 years. I have a feeling we're going to struggle a little bit in the beginning of the year, but kick butt in November. Go Lions. It could be. I'm going to say this, Frank. I'm anticipating that we'll do fairly well, actually, early in the year, just because we have so many returning players and both of our coordinators back. I think that's going to take a lot of pressure off the team, especially if we face early in the season teams that are going through new coaches, new quarterbacks, new systems, whatever, where they've got to figure some of that stuff out just because the preseason isn't what it once was in the NFL, especially that first and second week in the year. You see a lot of teams look just horrible out there. And then they gravely change and look different after that. All right, Silver Surfer, good morning, Coach, and everyone else. Prayers, all right. Back at you, Surfer. Hopefully having a great one. Doug, So you start letting players like Iffy, Houston, if that is what we think, McNeil and others go, then what do we have? Question mark. Decker? Question mark. Goff is our leader, but not if he breaks the bank. Yeah, I agree. I mean, you got to balance the books. You got to have risk reward. But the other part is at the NFL level, as we all know, you got to have a quarterback. If you don't have a quarterback, you're probably not doing much, even if you got everything else. All right, George, great salutations. I think this defense will help power the offense. The offense will get a lot more chances to score because the defense will get stops and turnovers, I think. Yeah, I think you're spot on with that, man. I think you're going to see a lot of sacks. I think you're going to see a ton of blitzes. I think you're going to see a lot of quarterbacks having to throw on the run, off the back foot, and into tight pockets. That could lead to some turnovers, 100%. Bo, Jared Goff's last 2 seasons, 9,000 yards, 59 touchdowns, and 19 INTs. Yeah, interceptions. So not a bad 2-year stretch by any means. And I know I've talked about this before, but when Anthony Davis was the offensive coordinator, Goff didn't look great. Once that change happened with the Detroit Lions in Goff's first year here, then you saw a huge change in Goff's stats. And I want to say, but don't hold me to it, that since that moment, Goff's been the number 4 quarterback in the NFL, statistically speaking. Dave, good morning, all. Good morning to you, too. Silver Server, Coach, you and me both love the talent of James Houston. This is true, but I see him only as a specialist on passing downs. Do you still believe James Houston can be a 3-down player? My answer is yes, and the reason why is because of basically DJ Reader and also Jack Campbell / Alex Anzalone. So in my mind, at least, I'll just say, here's Hutch, here's McNeil, here's Reader, here's James Houston. So the fact that Reader probably is going to eat up double team blocks more often than not leaves Houston a one-on-one. Now, knowing that he's not the greatest against runs, what I'm probably doing over him over here is I'm probably putting somebody who's a little bit larger linebacker backing him up. Could it be Jack Campbell? Yes. Could it be Derek Barnes? Yes. You get the gist. On running downs, I'm probably tilting someone over his inside shoulder just so he can have total focus on outside support in running gap integrity. So in a nutshell, here's James Houston, quarterback for the other teams over here. I'm putting probably Campbell or somebody like that right here over him. So Houston knows on the snap, he's just got to get out wide so the running back can't get the outside leverage. All right, Franz, what do you got? Good evening, Duke Crew, exclamation point. Who's ready for the schedule reveal next week? I think everybody is, man. I mean, we get who the teams are going to be, but now everybody wants to do the next thing during the offseason. They want to start Scooby-Dooing it, looking at that schedule and saying, hey, here's what we got week 1, man. All right, here's the win, here's the loss, whatever. So my anticipation is a lot of people are going to be chomping at the bit for that thing. And it's probably for YouTubers or, normal media, going to provide some content for a day or two. All right, Bo, Brad is not going to break the bank. No, I agree. I don't think he's going to overpay to get Goff. Again, I think we all agree Goff's in the top half of the quarterbacks in the league. Let everybody debate where he's at as far as a ranking. I don't put a whole lot of weight in that stuff, but it's fair to at least say he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league. But with that also being said, Bo, you're 100% right. If he's going to command the number 1 quarterback, number 2, probably top 5 quarterback money, then you probably got to look to replace him sooner versus later because unfortunately he's probably not that guy. All right, just AK, good morning, everyone. Good morning to you too. Silver Server, how about Broderick Martin? Do you think he will have space in the rotation? Yes, I do. And if not, do you think he might be done in Detroit? No, I think he's going to be fine. I think there's a lot of, whether it's just whatever you want to blame, just current times or whatever. I think there's a lot of people that think just because a rookie doesn't play their rookie year much that they must be a bust. And I don't think that's the case at all. I think the Lions had a good group last year and a lot of depth, but they drafted a guy sort of like they did with Giovanni Manu this year that just has outstanding physical traits, outstanding immeasurable stuff. So you put those together and say, what does this guy lack? He lacks some coachable, teachable stuff. He lacks some of the techniques. how to clean things up. Things you got to teach the mind and the body to do. And that comes in time. So, assuming you believe in this coaching staff to mold skillful players, or excuse me, talented players from a athletic standpoint into skillful players, then you got to believe that Broderick Martin's going to be something. Just like I think with Manu, I think he's going to take a year, maybe two, before you really see returns on that investment. But in both instances, I think they're very much mirror images of each other. The Lions traded up to get a superior athlete who, in time, with some good coaching, is going to really bring in some good rewards to the team. All right, Rocky, good morning, Duke crew. And I think they already got together a while ago and hashed this out, just a matter of time to dot the I's and cross the T's. Yeah, it could be with Goff and the new contract, the new deal. Yeah, I think you're probably not far off with that, Rock. My guess is there's probably still some negotiating going on, but is it a drastic amount? Probably not. All right, One Funky, just someone please tell me one thing. Who is the player the Lions regime did not support when asked about him? Question mark. Please remember they talked up Okudah, Collins, Flowers also. This is true. But to be fair, One Funky, I would say that's most franchises in any league, regardless of sport. Just like, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember. Lee McNeil said, man, Hendon Hooker looks like the real deal. And what do you expect from a teammate? What kind of teammate would you be if you came out in front of a mic, especially when you're on some podcast and said, man, just between you and me and everybody listening, this guy's terrible. I mean, yeah, that probably would not go well for team morale. And the same with the front offices of the coaching staff. I mean, they're not going to tell you if somebody's really struggling or whatever, at least more than likely or not. So I get your point on that, One Funky. Susan, what do you got? You're right, One Funky. Yeah, I agree. One Funky, I believe a deal will get done when a deal gets done. Until then, it's all lip service. Fair enough. But yeah, nothing wrong with that, man. Once they're signed, once it's announced, then the deal's done. Bo, I think you nailed it, Rocky. Yes, I concur. Silver, I say resign immediately. Aleem McNeil, he is the core of the defense, always on the field, serious and strong as an ox. And you'll save money if you do it now. It could be that they've already begun negotiating with him and other players as well. So that's the part we don't know yet, Silver. All right, Moonscar, I think with that Goff's extension, it's kind of the opposite of Panay and St. Brown. When they don't, where they don't want Goff's money this year going up, they have to wait until a certain time, maybe June 1st. Could be that, yeah, there's some behind-the-scenes stuff that's going on. There's a reason why maybe they don't want to do it now, etc. But I'm inclined to believe it's probably closer to happening than not. Although for a while now, I've been on the record saying wait until after the second preseason game. That's when I think they're going to do it. All right, Moonscar. Then all of the new money goes on those years only. Yes, correct. All right, let's see, Doug. My wife was a teacher. Teachers versus administration. They can be so far apart. Takes a while to find a happy spot. We're in a big portion of the team's salary cap. Takes money to win Super Bowl. Yes, it does, man. You gotta just be dang lucky with a lot of rookie contracts. So I think you're right. Anthony, good morning, Duke Crew. Back at you, Anthony. Thanks for all you do for the channel. Phil, greetings and salutations. Same to you, Phil. Hopefully you're having an outstanding morning. Miles Mark, good morning. Holmes is the best. He is, man. He's the best Lions GM we've probably seen in close to 30 years at the least. Maybe you could make an argument for 70 years. All right, let's see. One Funky. Moon, they will still have $20 million after they sign the rookies. They could easily give 10 of that to Goff this year, so have 10 to bring in another player or two. Yeah, it's curious what they're planning on doing with the remaining salary cap for this year. But there's still a little time left, or maybe they're just planning on doing something during the season. That's the stuff we don't know yet, but we can all guess. Silver Surfer coach. I think Donovan Peoples-Jones will be key. He got a great body type, the skills, and he catches the ball. Like I heard somewhere, if he can get some of the attention away from Amon-Ra, J-Mo, and company, Lions fly. Yeah, where I think you and I agree, Surfer, on this is he can play a lot more of the X receiver. Jameson can play that spot. Amon-Ra, not so much. Maybe Green could. But to your point, you put him out there assuming with the regular guys. he's one of the few that will play the X opposite JMO. Let St. Brown have to work more of his traditional routes, his short to intermediate ones. Same with Laporta as well. So I think you're pretty spot on. And he is physical. Moonscar thumbing up. All right, fair enough. Kurt Steele, the infamous one. What up, Doe? Question mark. Do crew! Exclamation point. I agree. And good morning, Kurt. Thanks for coming on the show, by the way. All right, Bo, congratulations, Savannah. Yeah, it's well-deserved. It's not always easy, being a non-starter all the time, but I summarize her with this. She became a team captain. She's a senior. She showed a lot of leadership. And, hey, now she's going to sign and go play collegiate basketball, so congrats to her, man. Sorry I couldn't be there, but, sometimes I do have to work, and, unfortunately, being a non-teacher, you're not on site. It's not easy. Mr. Nico, we know what Goff is capable of doing, but I'm ready to see what Hooker can do. Brad and crew have built this team for the future, dynasty or bust. No, and that's the other part. I think you're hitting the nail on the head there, Mr. Nico. Goff is probably going to be here for a while, but I also think Brad Holmes, the front office, Chris Spielman, whoever you want to list on that, they're all focused on one thing, not just this season, but for seasons. They want sustainability. They want to, I think we all agree they're in it to win it this year, but they also want to be in it to win it the next few years. So, yes, huge change from what we've had historically from the Lions franchise. Hookadoo, congratulations, kiddo. Yes, 100%. Congratulations to her. Miles Marker, congrats to your students signing college bound. Yes, and we were lucky out of the senior class this year. We had, this makes officially 2 signing, and I think we had 2 others have offers. They just did not want to go play collegiately. So to have 4 have options out of the 5 seniors, that's not bad. And I'm going to guess we'll have a few more next year, but all will be revealed in time. All right, Anthony, agreed. Silver Server, I agree with your agreeing. Mike, Lions fan, good morning, Duke Crew. Back at you, Mike. Hopefully having a great morning. Kurt, Holmes expressed a lot of confidence in the current roster during the interview yesterday. Yeah, I thought he did a good job with it as far as representing what his thoughts are, talking a few guys up. I give Brad Holmes credit for going on the air talking about these things, because I know there's a lot of GMs who would not want to do it just because they don't want to risk, tipping anything off. But Brad Holmes, I would say him, MCDC, really the current Lions regime as a whole, they embrace the fans, they embrace the community, they embrace all this. And you know what? It comes across when you sit back and listen to them talk. So give them thoughts and praise on that, because you know what? A lot of other teams won't do that. All right, let's see, Moonscar. I think it's cool how the school does a signing day for the students, even those that are going into the service. One grad just signed with the Marines this week. Yeah, it's real. So the school I coach at, most of you guys know, is Paw Paw High School, and they do a real good job representing, making all the kids feel like, hey, here's your opportunity to have a moment in the sun. They do a good job promoting not just these signings, but kids who normally don't always get all the ink or publicity, letting them know that, hey, your actions are just as important to us. But in regards to Savannah, hey, I'm glad they're taking some time out of the day to make this happen. Unfortunately, just, with what I got to do before I go on the show and then after the show with my real jobs, I just couldn't make it out, man. It would have been tough. Hey, Anthony, good morning. Good morning to all of you. It's Noel Guard. What do you got? Happy Friday, Duke Crew, back at you. All right, Broski, Kurt Steele, what up, though? There you go. Mitch, what do you got? Woo! Exclamation point. Hooker will play a bunch in preseason. Yes, he will. And to be fair, I want to see what this kid can do. I mean, I'm giving you guys my thoughts. I think, at least from what I could watch him in college, where his strengths and weaknesses lie, I do think he's got a pretty good touch on the deep routes, but that's at the college level. You got to see what he can do at this level. And even when he's out there in the preseason, my big thing, as a coach, is I want to see what he struggled with the first week and what he cleans up with that the second week. To me, that's a big sign of what you're working with. All right, Anthony, he came in not knowing our offense. He will be used a lot more in 2024. Yeah, Donovan Peoples-Jones, 1,000%. I agree with that. I think he has a real good opportunity ahead of him here. All right, Kurt, what's good, Broski Bear? There you go. Zane, good morning to all. Good morning to you, Zane. Bo, No, Uka Chuka. There you go. Mitch, Pico, a quote camp body or a serious contender for a roster. Think camp body. At least me doing the math in my head, unless they're going to keep an enormous amount of interiors, I don't see it happening. But stranger things. Let's see, Kurt Broski at Kurt Steele, pound and explosion. Fair enough. Phil Hooker has not played a game for 3 years. I don't think it's been that long. I mean, he didn't play at all last year. He played part of his senior year in college. So we'll say a year and a half, something like that. Don't hold me to my math, though. That's probably a problem for everybody. All right, one funky Kurt. Holmes has been spoke confidently about every roster since he got it. This is true. Broski, good morning, Dan, Duke Crew, back at you, Broski. Always glad to have you part of the show. Zane, who position should the Lions sign this offseason? What position? Man, as far as still this year, I mean, I guess could the front office want to get ahead of the curve with some of the guys you're going to keep? And just to try to save ultimately money in the long run, yeah, they could totally do that. As far as the big ones, man, I'm not sure who you go after next. Goff, I think most of us would agree you're probably getting him to something. After that, could you go after Lee McNeil now? That is possible. I just wonder, and I've talked about it before, you just spent so much money on DJ Reader. You got Hutchinson coming up. That's going to put some real pressure on them because they do have some good young talent up there. Aleem will be one of them. If James Houston goes out there and has anywhere near the season I think he's going to have, he's going to command some money on the open market and not just from the Lions. So I guess we'll have to wait and see, Zane. We'll have to wait and see. All right, Motown Mitch. Hey, Broski, who will the Bears draft in 3 years to replace Williams? Oh, boy. Here we go. One funky. Phil, half of that. All right. Anthony, laughing at Motown Mitch. There you go. Patrick, I'm going to have to get to a game and have a big sign that says Goff's cart. All right, fair enough. Broski, hey, Motown Mitch, you're funny. There you go. Anthony, Swift gonna be the Cubs' future quarterback. There you go. Could be. Yeah, maybe he could be a dual threat quarterback. If only they used to have one just a season ago. Motown Mitch, thank you, Broski. I try, but for real, who will it be? Zane, can I get a big woo? There you go. Broski, grits, question mark. I don't think people in grits in Michigan. That's more of a staple here in North Carolina. Shrimp and grits with lots of butter. Yeah, I like mine more with hot sauce than the butter, but hey, to each their own. Broski, Kurt Steele, you know what I'm talking about. There you go. Patrick, t-shirt that says, woo, the lion. There you go. There you go. Broski, 8, yes. Broski, good morning, and Patrick. There you go. Bo, what do you got? I ate grits in Alaska. There you go. Man, they have grits in Alaska. I did not know that, man. Taylor made big part of an NFL GM's role is public relations. So this is a classic messaging to the fan base. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, they got to be able to work the crowd. Anthony, I love grits and scrambled eggs. There you go. Noel, what do you got? Goff, 3 years, $45 million per, $100 million guaranteed. Good for both sides. Yeah, something like that. I think, man, that would be awesome if you could make that happen. I'm going to imagine most fans would be happy with it. Maybe not everybody, but I think most. Patrick Broski Bear, good morning to you as well. There you go. Kurt, the one thing people don't discuss with Goff is that he's durable. He's only missed 3 games in 3 seasons in Detroit. Yeah. And I want to say most of those games were the first year after he messed up the abdominal muscle or back muscle or something like that in Pittsburgh. Maybe I'm wrong with that, but that sounds right. Bo, hot sauce and grits. There you go. Anthony Goff, 3 years, $126 million. It could happen. JDC, I ate Michigan grit as a kid. Fell off a bike a lot. There you go, JDC. Mile marker. When I professored at North Dakota State, I was asked to help in recruiting a few times. Men's football, women's basketball. The process of recruiting / signing I found to be very interesting. Yeah, a lot goes into it. And I was explaining this to Jen the other day because she now works at a training facility that works with a lot of younger, talented athletes, trying to help them refine their games, get them to explode more, game of inches type stuff. And just talking about some of the differences between scouting or recruiting, I used to say at the collegiate level, professional level, just different things to look for. Noah, what do you got? Anthony, I think that's an overpay. Could be. Patrick, none better at play action than Goff. That's where I would agree. If he's not number one in the league, he's got to be in top 2 or 3, something like that, because he is just dang good with it, just from a functionality standpoint with his body to sell it, and then the ability for his eyes to scan the field quickly once turning and locating the proper reads. So give him a lot of credit with that, because that's something a lot of real good NFL quarterbacks still struggle with. Kurt, oh yeah, Broski Bear, shrimp and grits are a breakfast staple here in North Carolina. There you go. Anthony, $42 million. If you can get him down there, man, that would be, I'd say, a huge win for the team. Noah, what do you got? Underpay, he won't go that low. It could be. He's probably got an idea, or his representation has an idea where they want to go from a price standpoint. No, unless it's fully guaranteed, I would love to see that team-friendly deal, 100%. Anthony, who needs who more? Does the Lions need Goff or the opposite? That's the great debate, ain't it? Could you be the Lions? And let's just objectively look at Anthony's question from 2 areas. One, if Goff leaves Detroit and goes somewhere else, is he going to find a equal to, better, or worse situation? I'm going to say, and this is just my opinion, have your own, I'm going to say it's going to be harder for him to maintain the level he's at now, and almost zero opportunity to get a better situation than the Detroit Lions. So I'm going to say it's going to be easier for him to get into a worse franchise. Now, if I'm the Detroit Lions, if he, if you want to put a grade on it and say he's somewhere between the 7th to 12th best quarterback in the league, they're also going to face a situation. Who do you go out and get that's going to be equal to Goff or better? So that's the symbiotic relationship I think both sides find themselves in. It's going to be, I think, difficult for Goff, and that's putting it mildly, to find a team equal to Detroit's talent or in a better situation. I think it's also, for the Detroit Lions, going to be a real challenge to replace Goff with somebody equal to or better than. All right, Broski, Apple Booth, you got it, exclamation point. Good morning to you. Back at you. Yes, agreed. Noel, I agree. The opposite. The Lions rejuvenate his career. Yeah, I do believe they helped save his career, basically. Anthony, I believe this is Goff's last stop. Yeah, I don't think he's going somewhere else. I don't think he wants to go somewhere else. I know he's come off the cuff and said a few things here and there saying, hey, I've made enough money. That's for him to decide. But I do think with the basically the breakup he went through with the Rams, he doesn't want to go through that again. I think he wants to be here, and I won't be surprised if he does take a fairly team-friendly deal. Now, what is a team-friendly deal? Man, we'll have to wait and see. Derek, Goff needs the Lions offensive line. He does. Because without it, he is going to be a different quarterback. But with that being said, every quarterback's different when you have pressure on them. There are just incredibly few that handle that with no problem. The only ones that really come to my mind that in my lifetime, I could say, Kurt Warner, probably the best I can readily think of he didn't have a great offensive line. He still made it work. Warren Moon had a few years where I thought, man, he was just lights out, maybe the best quarterback in the league. Unfortunately, just, things didn't always go his way. Outside of that, man, there ain't many that I throw out there and say, if you're going to allow constant quarterback, especially pressure to come at them, especially up the middle of the offensive line, that they're going to do okay. Yeah, it just most don't. All right, Ogadu, months and months ago, Goff said he has made enough money. He just wants to play on a great team. Exclamation point. He's going to do team friendly. Yeah, I believe he probably will. But again, what is going to be a team friendly deal? Is it going to be 30, 40, 50 million a year? It's all going to be debatable until he signs it. Anthony, yes, Goff needs the Lions, so I believe a real team-friendly deal, that would be great if it happened. Hey, Fletch Lives, haven't seen you in a bit. I think if Goff has a setback this year, Holmes moves on. Brad Holmes is just waiting before resign. You could be right. I mean, I'd say this, put everything on the table. Don't rule any options or opportunities out. I would say, my anticipation is, as I've kind of said this before, they want to see the first 2 preseason games to just have some idea where Hooker is, because that is going to be leverage. The other part is, Goff, he's played very well for 3 years here. I'd also look back at his time in LA, and outside of really the last year in LA, I think he's played at a pretty high level for an NFL quarterback. Not the best in the league, but one of the better quarterbacks in the league. So we'll see where everything ultimately lies and finishes. Noah, I hope you are right. There we go. Manuel, Goff wants more guaranteed money. It could be that. And you know what? If I'm him and I want to help the team out, then maybe I take less money overall, but more guaranteed money overall. So that might not be a bad idea there, Manuel. Bo, back at you, broski. Anthony, he has to understand that in order for him to win, he's got to have elite players around him. They have to pay those players. Yeah. And I have to imagine him and his representation are both aware of that. Derek, what do you got? That, or he goes with Ben when he takes a head coaching job. It could be that too. That's, I know a lot of people have speculated about that. Could be. Phil, when Goff signs a multi-year deal, what does Ben do? ? Will Ben stay with the team? I've been surprised he hasn't left already, but could it be that he hasn't been offered a job in earnest, or B, maybe not a job he wants? I know there was a lot of rumors and speculations came out that the Carolina Panthers offered him the job and he turned it down. But I'd also say, based on everything that happened there with, I forget, Frank, whatever his name was, Frank Reich, that maybe Ben Johnson was like, this doesn't look like a good situation to be in. So maybe he is smarter than we all knew. All right, Noel, I don't think Ben wants a head coaching job. It could be at some point. I think he will, but whether that's this year, next year, who knows, man. Doug, Dan, you should give us a thought on what an agent goes through in negotiating a contract such as this. Goff is leaving all up to his agent. You got your BB player signed. Oh, congratulations, girl. Yeah, and hey, she's earned it. But as far as dealing with agents, I've talked to a few over the years. I mean, most of us have probably seen movies like Jerry Maguire or whatever that talk about the life of an agent. And while it's a little dressed up for Hollywood concerns, it's not unrealistic. It's very similar to most agency types where you're representing a party in negotiations with another party. So at this point, my anticipation is both sides have gone through multiple different offers, thrown them at each other, testing the waters to see what the other side will reciprocate and really what are the sticking points. My also anticipation is this has been going on for over a year. So I think the negotiating began probably after the year the Lions went 9-8 to finish the year, and the big win in Green Bay. I think that's where they started testing the waters, and they've been doing a little bit here and there. So this thing's been going on for quite some time. It's just trying to really round out, finish the details that are agreeable now to both sides. All right, Anthony, unfortunately, Ben is going to have to move forward in his career. Yeah, him, AG, let's be honest, man. Unless these guys are just real unicorns and that they're rare, in all the years I've coached at different levels, every assistant coach wants to become the head coach. And that's the same in football, basketball, volleyball, professional face slapping or whatever. If you're the guy behind the guy, you want to move up to be the guy at some point. There are rare exceptions. One guy, God bless his soul, Terry Gillette, had coached for like 30, 40 years when I met Terry. Just probably the nicest human being I've ever met. Never met somebody on any sideline at the college level that had even an inkling of something bad to say about TG. And he just never wanted to be a head coach again. He tried it. He said young in his career, and it just wasn't for him. He was far more happy cracking jokes and just, bumping players with elbows and say, hey, did you hear the one about the one guy or whatever? That was just him. But he's also, like I said, he's also really the asterisk. He's not the norm. Most assistant coaches, myself included, when I've been an assistant coach, wanted to elevate to be the head coach because you want to see if what you know is correct. You want to give it a go. You want to try it out, and that's human nature, I think. Manuel, so you paid the players around him, but not him. All right, could be. Noel, best offensive coordinator in the league, hands down. It might be. Yeah, him. I knew where you're going with that, Manuel. I got you, man. Anthony, no, he takes a team-friendly deal to pay those players to protect him. Yeah, it could be, Anthony. That he understands he wants a better offensive line. He wants better talent around him. So, yes, he takes down some of the money he could command so other players can get more. Derek, I think Ben's only got 2 years left here. Could be. Broski, Frank makes a good point. Also, Lions will struggle when they play the Bears. It might be, or it could be. Here's a counter thought. Me just kind of Scooby doing this, Broski, thinking outside the box. Could it be Caleb Williams struggles against the Lions' vicious offense and defense? Because I think they're going to need a lot out of him to stay competitive this year. I've been wrong before, though. All right, Kurt, I said it yesterday. Antonio Pierce said the coin flip didn't. AP is a straight shooter. There you go. Said the coin flip didn't. Okay, AP is a straight shooter. Very good. I'll go with that. Anthony, yeah, okay. The Bears, seriously, fair enough. A lot of marks on the Bears, seriously. Fair enough. Derek Goff makes plenty of money. He does. Yeah, but human nature, everybody wants more. Broski, Kurt Steele, I'm curious to see if he can get anything done in Las Vegas. I like Antonio Pierce. I think he does a good job of stuff, but let's see what happens. Excuse me, I had to clear my throat. No, let's see. Beats got rid of scrambling quarterback. Bears got rid of scrambling quarterback that we struggled with. We will now win both against them this year. It could happen, man. It could be, but I think the Bears are going to be very sound on defense. I do wonder about the offense, not because the skills players aren't there, but you do have a rookie quarterback. Most rookies do struggle. Now, you're going to exacerbate the problem by not addressing, at least so far, that offensive line. But we'll see. Well, maybe they have better talent there than all of us are anticipating. So wait and see what happens during the season. Phil, Ben is Chicago's next head coach. That's an idea. Broski, Anthony Cunningham, tell me what happened when the Bears and Lions played this past December. They did win one, but to be fair, Broski, you guys had won, I want to say, a few in a row against the Lions. I want to say, well, we all know that the one at Ford Field, you guys had the big lead and, didn't go your way towards the end. The year before that, you guys got pretty hammered in Detroit and then, kind of blew the game in Chicago. It was actually probably one of Okuda's best games with the pick six and all. So it is what it is. We'll see what shakes out this year because the past is not always prelude to the future. So wait and see. All right, Derek, we split games with the Bears and Packers this year. Could be. All right, Anthony, Bears are not going to be an issue. Kick rocks, Broski. Oh, boy. Here we go. That's right. You guys got that bet. I forgot about that. Kurt, I love AP. I hope he does well out there. Davis seems to believe in him. Yeah, and I think he's going to do pretty well. The team also seems to really like him, and that's one thing in coaching. You can have some weaknesses here and there, maybe the X's and O's or whatever, but if you're great with players, if you're great with people, you can motivate. You know what? People buy in, and then you just hope that some of the assistant coaches you surround yourself with can help elevate some of your weaknesses. See, Derek Packers. There we go. I knew where you're at with that. Kurt, be right back. Very good. Anthony, what happened was Justin Fields in you guys traded him for nothing. I was surprised. And Broski, let me know your thoughts. It seems like they took almost nothing for Justin Fields. I like Justin Fields. If Goff wasn't here, I would have been very fine with the Lions getting him. All right, Anthony, let's see. Another idiotic move. It happens. Phil, every year, the Bears hype their team, then stink. Woo! There you go. Gary, good morning, all. Grit for life! Exclamation points. Not surprised about Goff. I'm thinking 4 years, but Jared isn't greedy. I don't think he will overprice us. Preseason for starters is the first 2 games of regular season. Yes, I would agree with that. Yeah, nowadays, especially with what MCDC, a lot of people gave him grief for playing the regulars in the regular season finale, but he said, hey, we're still playing for something. That's us. But in the preseason, during his time here, the regulars don't play at all. Some teams still do a little bit. In this situation, knowing how many guys are returning for the past 3 years, I'm with you, Gary. I would not put any ones out there whatsoever. Let the guys trying to make the team get all the reps. Or anybody you're trying to grow and develop too. Phil, until the Bears have a place to play football, they will stink. That could be. Broski and Phil, nobody has hyped the Bears up in years until this year. Lions are jealous of the Bears right now. Maybe. Anthony, you're kidding, right, Broski? You are smoking that. Okay. You guys are getting after it now. Gary, Dan, do you think Goff's contract will have incentives maybe? That's not a bad thought either there, Gary. I like the idea of front loading it the first, say 2 years with a bunch of guaranteed money. I also like the idea of putting in a bunch of incentives, win the Super Bowl, make it to the Super Bowl, 5,000 yards passing, stuff like that. That could be something. So you're probably onto a good thought there. Phil, jealous of what? Stinking? There you go. Question marks. Bo, rotation will mean no one has to play 3 downs all the time. Whether James Houston starts will depend on circumstances. It could be definitely that. Noel, what do you got? Tell Caleb to keep his nails painted. Bears are under 500 this year. It could be. Broski, Anthony, Cunningham, Fields stinks, and the rest of the league agreed. Bustin trash play determined his value. It's basics. Stick around, and I'll teach you more this morning. Oh, boy. Here we go. All right, fair enough. Anthony, say no. Just say no, broski. Boy, you guys are firing away today. Derek, Broderick is getting cut, working with Aleem. There you go. And I have heard and seen some stuff on him that, he's really coming around this offseason. He's put in some time, but that's not unnormal for rookies to see big transformations. So, again, I want to temper everybody that says, hey, just because a guy doesn't play their first year. I mean, Green, I think he could really have a bit of an impact in the wide receiver room this year. And obviously, he did not do much last year. Scoresdale could do something. I mean, we've seen what Derek Barnes, Ife Malafanu, among others have done. Some guys just take a little time. Extreme Shaft, I am a Bears fan with no life. Fair enough. Well, welcome to chat. Enjoy the show, my friend. Hey, Gary, if Goff is the guy to take us to the Super Bowl, you pay him. Exclamation point. Starting with a new quarterback will set us back, I think. Don't do what the 57 Lions did, man. Don't do that, because look at how well that's gone for us ever since that last championship. All right, Don, Banda, woo! There you go. All right, hookadoo. Brosi, the decision the Bears have to make is putting Williams' makeup table on the sidelines or the locker room. Hey, if it gets him to play well, I guess you do whatever he feels comfortable with. Anthony, you asked what happened last year. It was Justin Fields. All right. Don, Frank and Beans, the Bears. All right. Very good. Anthony, let's see, Broski, Anthony, kind of really question mark. How many points did the Lions score that game? That I don't recall offhand. Anthony, yes, he's laughing. Phil, love the Bears' new black uniforms. All right, that's something. Derek, Broski, what are you going to do when he gets hurt? Because this D-line will come for that rookie. Yes, I agree. We'll be able to put some pressure on him, but see what happens. Maybe he'll supersede expectations. Anthony, which game 31 in 13 on the other? There you go. Don, Broski, Bear, your whole fan base around this time last year told us Fields was him. From Swift Sports to Barroom Network to Chicago Central, Cap and Hoodie, except now all of the guys are trashing Fields. This is true. The fan base can be fickle and turn against you in a heartbeat. Boo, good morning, all. Phil, boo, woo, there you go. Broski, Derek stumbled. Unlike the Lions, the Bears have a great backup quarterback in Tyson Bargett. He's a special player. Could be. All right. The difference between the regime and players, talking about Goff and Hooker, is everyone gets a smile on their face like a schoolgirl when they talk about Hooker. It could be also that there could be some body language in play there. So wait and see what happens with him. I mean, he might end up being something, he might not, but let's wait until we see him on the field at least a little bit. Anthony, special ed, there we go. Bus driver, Gary, if you pay Goff top money, then history says you're not winning the Super Bowl. I would agree with that. And hopefully Goff is aware of that. Extreme Shaft, best thing about Chicago is Isaiah Thomas. Yes, he did quite a lot in Chicago and then did even more here in Detroit. Broski, Don Burr. Well, Donnie boy, you troll in enough Bears chats to know that my thoughts on Fields, and I talked in an immense amount of trash about those trash Justin sexuals. I just told them he would be traded. Yeah, I like Justin Fields. I thought he needed more time to develop or needs more time. But as we all know, the NFL does not give you a lot of time, especially at the quarterback position. It's unfortunate for him because I think he could be something. Now you're going to have to get a team to kind of gamble on him, see if they can coach him up a little bit. and then he's gonna have to come down in contract because you're not probably picking up a second year or a second contract with him unless if it's at a more affordable rate than what he's probably going to want. Anthony, you have no offensive line to put any decent quarterback behind there, Broski. There you go. Phil, best thing about Chicago is leaving it. All right. Ed, good morning, Coach and Duke crew. Pretty good chat for a slow time of year. It is, man. We're firing all cylinders here, there, Ed. So welcome to the show. Hopefully having a great day out there fishing. Don, Regiment is all hype and trash. What has he ever did great? If he was so great, he would have unseated Fields since Fields was so bad, Broski. Eric, good morning. Happy Friday, Coach and Duke crew. Back at you, Eric. Broski, Anthony Cunningham, you'll find out this season. Bustin made the O-line look bad. Maybe that was it. Maybe. Phil, if we sign Bates, do we need an offense? We'll see. We will see. Derek, what? Question mark. Now I know you're smoking something. Hooker is a first rounder, but if I do think, to be very fair, Derek, if Hendon Hooker didn't blow out his knee in his senior year, then I do think he would have been a late first round pick. Hendon Hooker would have been, that is. Maybe I'm proven wrong. Maybe it would have been a second rounder, but I think I'll just say this: there's no way he would have been a third rounder. So go with that. Anthony, I bet your first round quarterback you pick will end up hurt and out most of the season. It could be JDC pointing at a skunk versus the Bears. There you go, Cheddar and Vikes. All right. Moonscar Broski, the Bears played a Thursday night game that had 10 days to prepare for the Lions the first game. Came off the bye and had 2 weeks the second. That's also an outstanding point there, Moonscar. That is a very good point. You did have a lot of extra time to prepare in both situations for the Lions. You did win one, you did lose one. So we'll see what happens this upcoming season. Big Daz, what do you got? I think Goff is holding them ransom with all the players we've gotten for him and how close we are. He knows his worth to the Lions. It could be, but the other part of that is, Big Daz, is I know others have said it. At some point, you have to be willing to pay those other players. Otherwise, you're not going to have them. So it'll be interesting to see where the contract goes. Broski, Ed Donber, in 4 starts last season, his sack rate was 1/4 of Bustin's. Why is that? Badgett made pre-snap reads and got rid of the ball quickly. I was hoping to face him versus Justin Fields, but we didn't get that opportunity. I would have enjoyed that opportunity. Anthony, you have absolutely nobody there that can protect him. All right. Broski, DJ Moore is better than Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's a debate for sure. Extreme Shaft Bears are the worst team in football. I don't know about. I won't go that far on them, but I think they've got some pieces. But we'll see. They might end up being the worst team. All right, Broski, JDC, Bears, Fudgies, and Queens. There we go. Phil, Dan, how much are you going as a basketball coach right now? Are you doing as a basketball coach right now? How's the team look for next year? This time of year, not a ton. We will get some stuff in June and July for the kids. Try to be kind of respectful for them because a lot of them do so many other things sports-wise or whatever, let alone having jobs. And plus, they want to be kids too. So it used to be back in the day when I've coached at other places, like there's one school in particular, or I'd say 2 schools in particular that I've coached at from a high school standpoint, where those kids were all in on basketball. So we would do 15 days spread out across June and July. These kids like basketball. I do think most of them are into other sports first. So I'm trying to be respectful of that. But we'll probably, like I said, get 5 or so days in this summer. And then maybe a month before the season, start workout, gym stuff as far as workout conditioning, things like that. Trying to strengthen them up a little bit. As far as next year, I'd like to say we are 0-22 until you win a game. So you got to take those losses away before you give yourself wins. All right, Don, what do you got? Bears O-line has been bad. Nate Davis, bad. Jenkins signing away from Braxton Jones. Is James Houston putting Bag in Hutch owns right? Ryan Pace, your center, is not strong. Okay, very good. One funky. Broski. Man, we got some stuff happening here today. I almost want to go on longer. Broski, count the all pros, then get back to us who is better wide receiver. Very, very good. JDC, Broski Bear. Yes, Broski, you've lit a fire, apparently. Derek, what do you got? Amon-Ra definitely better than Moore. All right. Doug, think and ask, where would a healthy hooker have been drafted in this year's draft? Really, the unknown is also the factor for Brad. Definitely not pushing for a quarterback change, but we have time to wait, watch and see. Yeah, I'm with you. I think if, man, in this year's class, he might have been a top 15 selection. So that's my opinion, of course. Who knows? Detroit D, San Fran will take a step back this year. I agree with that. I think you're spot on with that, D. I think, yeah, Father Time is going to start catching up with them a little bit. Broski, Don Burr, I won't deny the Bears aren't finished building their team. I'd like to see several upgrades to the O-line and need that another pass rushing defensive end too. I'll go with that. All right, guys, it's been an hour, and this chat has been awesome this morning. If there's some breaking news or something happens later today, I'll try to get it over to you. It is a fairly light Friday. Probably going out to see the new Planet of the Apes movie tonight, so going out with some friends to see that. But if there's some breaking news, I'll try to get it over to you as quick as possible. If you enjoyed the content within the video, please consider subscribing. We're 80 subs away from hitting 6,700. Also, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. We've got a little over 500 people watching, so if you guys could all just take a quick second, hit that thumbs up button, I surely would be thankful. Go out, enjoy your day, enjoy your weekend. We'll see you all in the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, all.